Hello, hello. I am popping on for a video about your love blueprint. Why? Because I use this term a lot, and I thought it would be useful and valuable for you to actually have some kind of a background information about what do I mean when I say love blueprint. Like, what the heck is that actually? So we are going to talk about a bunch of things related to your love blueprint so you can have a better understanding of what that means. So the first thing that I want to say is that you are far more magnetic than you know you are when it comes to men and relationships. Hello, Brianna. And you are always, always, always attracting and getting exactly what you are coded for with men and relationships and dating. So what's doing the coding is your love blueprint, which we're going to talk about today. Hi, Sally. How are you? How is everyone? So your love blueprint is that thing that you don't actually have conscious awareness of, or if you do, you might know parts of it, but you don't really know what to do about it, how to shift that. So when you're choosing a man, when you even just notice a man, then when you fall for a man, or when you have a certain type of relationship with someone, or it goes a certain way typically for you, that's all 100% what your love blueprint has coded you for. That's how it works. You always get what's in your love blueprint. So if you haven't had great luck with men and relationships and dating, that's a reflection of what's in your current blueprint. So what I'm going to talk about today is how your love blueprint manifests itself in your dating and relationships. What the heck even is a love blueprint? So you actually understand when I'm using this term, what is she talking about? I'm going to share a piece of my story with my love blueprint and how that worked in my life. And then we'll talk about rewiring and reprogramming your love blueprint, what is required to do that. All right, you guys ready? So your love blueprint is the reason that you have what you have and you don't have what you don't have. So quite literally, your love blueprint is the blueprint for your love life. So it's like how you have a blueprint for a building. If you have that blueprint, you're only going to build the same building if you're following that blueprint. There's no other building you could possibly create. So every time you build a building, that's your blueprint, that's the building you're going to get. That's how it works. So if you're experiencing continually being attracted to the wrong kind of man, an avoidant man or an unavailable kind of man, or men who seem totally into you, but then they tell you, I'm not looking for a relationship right now, I'm not looking for anything serious. Men who hurt you, men who treat you poorly, men who come on strong and then pull away, men who are super clingy and end up desperately chasing you. The men who come on strong and kind of love bomb you and then end up kind of manipulative and controlling. Any experience you're having with a man, it's because of what's in your love blueprint. So if you keep ending up the same issues in your relationships, could be different man, same situation, or it could even be same man, same situation, it keeps repeating and you can't get that to stop repeating, that's because you're coded to keep reproducing that outcome. That's how it works. So the people we are attracted to are actually very often the people who are the least able to give us what we want or what we need. And I'm going to talk about why that is later. So why do we do it? Why do we keep recreating again and again and again? It's because of your love blueprint. So this is any kind of pattern with men. And yes, if it's happened once, that means it's happened before. So if we were to trace back, we could see the way it's actually being recreated. So you're going to have to be willing to be honest with yourself right here in this moment. Do you see that you have a pattern with men? Do you see where that might be replaying out in your relationships, in your dating? Repeated patterns with the partners you choose, repeated patterns with the kinds of situations that you end up in with dating and relationships, same behaviors, same patterns, the ways it goes bad, the ways it ends, the ways you feel unmet or unloved or unheard or unseen or unwanted, all of those things we could trace back to your love blueprint. So the emotions that you experience on a continual basis around men, your triggers or whatever those things are, the anxiety, whatever. If you're a woman who gets completely thrown off because you don't feel secure with the man that you're seeing, if you're a woman who can't focus on anything else until you get his text because you need the reassurance, if you're a woman who tries really hard to give and give and give and please so he'll fall in love with you, if you're a woman whose world starts to revolve around the man that she's dating, even though you try really hard not to, and you may even have a busy schedule, a full social calendar, and still your mind is ending up revolving around him, thinking about him, wondering, worrying, the anxiety. If you're a woman who needs security and yet falls for men who can't provide it or won't provide it, or if you're always feeling like you're not good enough or that you'll be abandoned, we could trace that to your love blueprint. Or the opposite, if you're constantly finding something wrong with potential partners, if you just can't stay with a man too long before you sort of get driven crazy and find him unattractive, if you inexplicably feel the need to end it, to run away, you might even feel repulsed by certain men. You might say they're boring, right? And these are actually just like the stable, more secure men. You can't be bothered to go look for a man. You're choosing to love yourself and be single, and it's not just like not worth the effort to go find someone. The thought is, it always goes badly. It doesn't work well. Men disappoint. It's a pattern in your love blueprint. So I'd like to hear in the comments, what are you experiencing right now with men? What are some of the things that are coming up for you that we could actually trace back to your love blueprint? So let me know in the comments, what are some of those things that are showing up for you repeatedly or just showing up right now? Because if it's here now, it's going to be somewhere in that love blueprint. So let me know. And while you're typing, I'm going to continue. We'll come back. So type, let me know. So first of all, if you're experiencing it, it's in your love blueprint. So we can take a look where that is. So for example, one of my patterns was that I would fall for men who were unavailable. They were not ready or willing to commit. They were still in love with someone else, and they were totally going to disappear at some point. Or I choose to be in a relationship with men who were way too into me. And because they felt safe, in the sense that they would never leave, then I would be staying with those men. Stuff about how I wasn't good enough was always kind of rattling around in my head. So, like, oh, definitely he's gonna leave. I'm not sure why he would like me. I must not be interesting enough. Like, I had all these thoughts about that. I had this then play out in my love blueprint as acting needy, but then too afraid that I couldn't come off as needy. So then I'd be crazily obsessed with these guys. I'd be counting the texts and the hours in between the texts, and my whole inner life would be revolving around them. Typical anxious attachment, right? But then if I thought he was pulling away, and there was a chance that he might, I would give up really fast and I would pull away first because I wasn't gonna lose that game. So then I would end up choosing the safe guy who wasn't gonna disappear. And that ended up, I'd be in these relationships that had control or manipulation or just not good traits in them. Of course, I contributed to that because that was also in my love blueprint. I've talked about trauma bonds and some of the things there. So that was showing up for me because it was in my love blueprint. And at the time, I had no idea why. I didn't even see that there was some kind of a pattern or something behind it. I just thought, my poor luck, men are just like that. I had all those thoughts. Okay, so Anne Laree says, every man I talk to is unavailable for a relationship, non-committal. There you go. That is something in your love blueprint. Most men on dating apps don't feel masculine and they make me feel out of my feminine, so I stop responding to them. Okay. Kimberly says, I fall for good-looking, charismatic men who are emotionally unavailable or have issues, and I think I can fix them. Yes, definitely. Brianna, fear of abandonment, not good enough, dating men who are emotionally unavailable, controlling, narcissistic, right? And so you can see how those beliefs then recreate something in your reality. And Anne-Marie, or if they were just wanting to hook up and those ones interest me more, but I don't want just that, right? So you got to look, where is that coming from? Being only interested in that type of man. I'm going to talk about my experience with that. Hannah, mine always have mental disorders like narcissism, borderline, in one case full-on psychopathy. All right, Hannah, we would want to look at where the heck that's coming from. There's something in your love blueprint that is recreating that for you out in the physical world. And Sally says, I think I've experienced a few scenarios, but a major pattern like mine. Okay, yep, they seem more valuable to me when they pull back, and I feel so scared that I won't be chosen and that there's something wrong with me. Tried a few times the last guy because he went to counseling, but he has ended up pulling back. Yes, yep, anxious attachment. Yep, so that's in your love blueprint. There's something there that is recreating that situation for you, and you've already started to look at, well, some of the thoughts that I have are this, right? Genevieve says, I'm interested in guys they don't call back after the first date, or I meet guys I'm not interested in, and then they're the ones who fall in love with me after the first date. Yep, that's pattern 2. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. So what is a love blueprint? So now we've got an idea of what are these patterns. So what is a love blueprint, right? Because they're coming from that. So your love blueprint is subconscious programming, which means it does not operate at a conscious level. Okay, and that's important because you may be like, but I'm going to change this, and then you cannot change it. It is still showing up the same. So your love blueprint is the number one secret, and it is not talked about or really understood, this factor that is impacting your love life and your relationships, including the types of people you attract and the dynamic between the two of you. So when you get an unhealthy, or when you have an unhealthy love blueprint, or one that is not working in your favor for the outcomes you actually want, then you tend to experience dysfunctional love relationships, heartache, heartbreak, can't find the right man, all men are unavailable, or all men are whatever. So these patterns are recreating because of that programming. So you'll get things like letdowns, dissatisfaction, repeatedly attracting negative partners or unhealthy dynamics, all these things. So it's made up of all the beliefs, all the meanings, all the experiences and the meanings you made from them, your nervous system responses, traumas, core wounds, etc. from your entire life. That is what is in your love blueprint. It's a lot of stuff. So it's especially the things that happened when you were young, especially typically from ages like pre-birth to about age 7. Sometimes people say age 9, but typically it's pretty solid by age 7, okay? So there's stuff from pre-memory, a lot of stuff that you don't even know is there. And you don't know why you keep recreating this thing, but you keep doing that. So it's the hardwiring in your system. Your energetic, emotional, psychological, physiological, physical, that affects who you attract, who you are attracted to, not necessarily who's attracted to you, although it can be there. But if you're just a woman, like, there's going to be men who are attracted to you, but who you actually let in, who you are attracted to, who ends up in your life, how you function within those relationships and within yourself. Okay, so this is the configuration of all the programming, your emotions, family, belief systems, your belief systems, lineage, past core wounds, just wounds, body issues, childhood stuff, experiences, and it's kind of like layer upon layer upon layer. It creates what we call, or what I call, like the hardwiring or the programming that's working in your life with men and with relationships.